Most women assume that after 60, their body simply quiets down. Maybe you're thinking, I should be past this, I should only be thinking about tea and knitting and grandchildren. But what if your body still holds whispers of desire, of curiosity, of mystery? What if that quiet urge you feel is actually a message from your biology, from your body, from your deeper self? I'm Dr. Lia Parker, intimate health psychologist and gynecologist with over 30 years of caring for women over 60. And today we're going to explore something most women never talk about, but many feel, and it could make a real difference in how you feel, how you move, how you reconnect with yourself. We're going to ask, how often should you touch yourself, according to science? By the end of this video, you will not only understand what the research says, but you'll discover how your body has been trying to speak to you, how you can listen, and how the way you feel about this can quietly shift your health, emotionally, physically, and intimately. Stay with me through all 6 parts because the last one holds a single insight that tends to change women's experience in a way they didn't expect, and that insight may feel like permission you forgot you had. Before we dive in, please do me a small favor. Tell me in the comments where you're watching from and your age. Yes, really. I want to hear your voice because this conversation is for you, not a generic woman somewhere. Also, if you find yourself nodding along, hit the like button now. It helps me bring more of these honest conversations to women like you. Now take a comfortable breath. You've carried many questions about your body and your desires. Some came from your mother, some from culture, some from your own quiet awakenings. You may have wondered if you're too old, if you're past that, if desire is over. You may have labeled what you feel as guilt or shame, or simply ignored it. That's completely understandable. But let me ask, what if it isn't about being too old, but about being ready to pay attention? We'll begin by tracing the whisper of desire, how your body is still trying to tell you something. Then we'll peek into the science of what happens when you do give yourself attention, and later we'll ask the question every woman deserves to ask, how often is enough? And finally we'll arrive at that insight I promised, a shift in thinking more than a number. I'm inviting you to stay with me through the whole journey. It's not simply about finding an answer, it's about reclaiming your connection with your own body. If you're ready, let's begin. You may have noticed something curious about your body. Even after the hot flashes fade and the periods end, there are evenings when a quiet pulse of energy rises for no clear reason. You might call it restlessness, or simply a sense that your body wants something it hasn't had in a while. Most women brush it away, but what if that gentle pulse was your body's way of keeping you alive, supple, and balanced? For decades I've watched women assume that desire is supposed to retire when they do. Yet the body doesn't get that memo. Deep inside, your cells still communicate through tiny electrical signals and hormones that whisper, "Remember me?" Estrogen may decline, but blood flow, nerve endings, and brain chemistry still long for stimulation and release, just in subtler ways. That quiet hum you sometimes feel isn't misbehavior, it's maintenance. Science has begun to understand this in beautiful ways. When a woman experiences pleasure, her body releases oxytocin, the same hormone that builds trust and connection. That single chemical helps keep blood pressure steady, improves sleep, and even strengthens the immune system. But here's the surprising part. Studies show that even gentle physical self-attention can trigger that cascade. The body can still make its own medicine. Think of it this way. When you move your muscles, you keep your joints from stiffening. When you move your intimate muscles, through curiosity, through care, you do the same thing for the tissues that matter for comfort, bladder control, and vitality. Yet most women over 60 never hear that explained to them. They simply feel a mix of confusion and guilt, as if the natural desire for warmth or touch somehow has an expiration date. Let me reassure you, it doesn't. That spark is your body's signal for circulation and regeneration. Ignore it long enough, and those tissues can grow quieter, thinner, less responsive. Listen to it, and you may notice subtle shifts, softer skin, deeper sleep, even a lighter mood the next morning. It's not magic, it's physiology doing what it was designed to do. In just a moment, I'll share what happens in the brain when you let yourself follow that signal, and why neuroscientists are fascinated by the female reward system after menopause. But for now, hold on to one simple truth. Your body hasn't betrayed you, it's inviting you back. If this message resonates, tap the like button, It tells me these conversations matter, and tell me in the comments how old you are and where you're listening from. Our shared experiences are what make this space powerful. Stay with me, because what your brain does next will completely change how you understand desire after 60. You know how sometimes your body surprises you? You think all the changes of menopause are behind you, and yet, there it is again. A flicker of warmth, a little rush of energy, an ache that feels oddly alive. It can happen while you're reading or just before sleep, and it catches you off guard. You might even smile or wonder, where did that come from? That small whisper from inside you is not random, it's communication. Your body is still talking, just in a quieter voice. After 60, hormones like estrogen and progesterone fade, but the body keeps searching for balance. It sends out gentle signals, sometimes as restlessness, sometimes as a craving for closeness, sometimes as the smallest spark of desire. It's the same language your body used to speak loudly when you were younger, but now it speaks in a whisper. The question is, are you still listening? Science has a lovely way of explaining this. Even without the hormonal highs of youth, your brain and your nerves remember what pleasure feels like. When you give yourself attention through care, movement, touch, even imagination, your brain begins to release oxytocin and dopamine. Those chemicals help your blood vessels open, your heart rate steady, your sleep deepen. They calm the mind and keep the tissues of the pelvis alive. You could think of it as exercise from the inside out. And yet many women I meet have spent years ignoring those signals, convinced they mean something they shouldn't. But the truth is, the body's wish for connection never fully disappears. It simply asks for a different kind of response. You might not crave wild passion anymore. You might crave comfort, warmth, and the reminder that you are still a living, feeling woman. That craving has a purpose. It keeps the circulation healthy, the muscles toned, and the nervous system balanced. I often tell my patients, your body wants to be part of your life, not a memory of it. When we respond to that call with curiosity instead of shame, something beautiful happens. Energy returns, sensation sharpens, confidence grows. And no, this isn't about forcing anything or chasing youth. It's about honoring what's still very much alive in you. If you think about it, your body has been your oldest companion. It knows when you're anxious, when you're lonely, when you're tired. And every so often, it sends a signal, an invitation to reconnect. When you accept that invitation, even in small ways, your body thanks you with calm, balance, and softness. That's biology, not fantasy. Stay with me, because what happens next is even more fascinating. In the next part, we'll step inside the brain itself and see how these quiet moments of pleasure change its chemistry, how they can shift mood, memory, and even confidence in ways most women never imagine. What's happening up there might be the key to how you feel everywhere else, and it's something science is only just beginning to understand. Sometimes the body speaks in a whisper, other times it falls silent altogether. And when it does, many women mistake that silence for peace. But often, it's not peace at all. It's a kind of forgetting, a quiet fading of connection between mind and body that happens so slowly you hardly notice. When we stop listening to the body's messages, those small waves of warmth, that familiar stirring we once welcomed with curiosity, something inside begins to change. The muscles that once held tone begin to soften. The tissues that once felt supple can become thinner, drier, more fragile. And the spark that once lifted your mood, that little rush of aliveness, starts to dim. Not because you did something wrong, but because your body has been waiting too long for a response. I often think of it like a friendship. If someone you love speaks to you and you never answer, they eventually stop speaking. The same is true for the body. When you ignore its signals, those quiet invitations to connect, it doesn't get angry, it simply grows quiet. But silence doesn't mean the need has gone away. It means the body has learned not to expect a reply. This is why many women tell me that even though they no longer feel desire the way they used to, they miss the feeling of being alive inside their own skin. They can't quite name it, but they feel a distance from themselves, from the sense of softness and vitality they once took for granted. It's not vanity or nostalgia, it's biology, trying to remind you that attention keeps life flowing. Science supports this in beautiful ways. Studies show that regular stimulation and gentle circulation help keep pelvic tissues healthy. The same way a walk keeps your joints moving, Small moments of awareness and care keep the intimate parts of the body nourished with oxygen and blood. When ignored for too long, that flow can slow down, and with it comfort, sensation, even confidence can fade. But here's the hopeful part. The body never truly forgets. It only waits for permission to wake up again. When you start responding to its signals through warmth, touch, movement, or even simple mindfulness, the change is often subtle, but unmistakable. Colors seem brighter, sleep feels deeper. There's a lightness in your step, and a sense of quiet satisfaction that doesn't depend on anyone else. Many women describe it as coming home to themselves. That first moment of connection might feel uncertain or even emotional, but what follows is usually relief that their body still remembers how to feel alive. It's not about chasing the past, it's about honoring the present, and when you begin to answer those small whispers again, something inside you opens. It's as if the body sighs and says, "There you are." That gentle reconnection has nothing to do with age and everything to do with attention. The moment you offer it, your body begins to respond, softly at first, then with growing confidence, reminding you that the language of pleasure and vitality was never lost, only waiting to be spoken again. For years, women have asked me, "But how often is right?" They ask it softly, almost apologetically, as if there might be a rule written somewhere. The truth is, there isn't one. But science gives us clues, and your body gives you even better ones, if you know how to listen. Researchers who study women's health after menopause have noticed something remarkable. Women who regularly stimulate blood flow to their pelvic region, even once or twice a week, tend to maintain stronger muscle tone, better tissue elasticity, and more natural moisture. Their circulation improves, and many report better sleep and a lighter mood. These findings don't come from fantasy. They come from measurements of oxygen flow, nerve response, and hormonal balance. The body thrives on gentle attention, but it's not about keeping score. It's not about a number written on a calendar. It's about rhythm. Some weeks you might feel more connected to your body, other weeks less so. Both are perfectly natural. What matters most is why you reach for that connection. When it comes from curiosity, comfort, or affection for yourself, it nourishes you. When it comes from habit or boredom, it can begin to feel empty. Think of it like watering a plant. You don't water because the clock tells you to. You do it because the soil is beginning to dry and you know life needs it. The same is true for you. Your body doesn't need perfection, it needs presence. I often tell my patients, start by noticing when your body feels dull or tense, and when it feels light and open. These subtle shifts are signals. When you give yourself attention in those moments, you're not indulging, you're restoring. Science now understands that gentle physical pleasure releases nitric oxide, a natural chemical that widens blood vessels, helps the heart, and calms the nervous system. Even a few minutes of relaxation or self-kindness can ripple through your entire physiology. And here's something even more fascinating. Women who maintain this kind of intimate awareness often report stronger self-esteem and emotional balance. It's as if listening to their bodies rewires how they see themselves. Neuroscientists suggest that these moments activate the same areas of the brain linked to confidence, creativity, and empathy. Isn't that beautiful? What you do for your body quietly echoes in your mind. So if you're wondering how often, perhaps the better question is how intentionally. Let your body lead. When it asks for connection, offer it gently. When it rests, let it rest. You'll begin to find your own rhythm, one that feels natural and nourishing instead of forced. And yet there's one more layer to all this, something women rarely talk about, but it changes everything once they do. Because it isn't just how often you care for your body that matters, it's what you believe about that care. The thoughts you carry in your mind can turn a moment of healing into guilt or into freedom, and understanding that difference might be the most powerful discovery of all. There's something important I've learned from listening to women over many years. The most powerful change doesn't come from hormones, or from medicine, or even from what you do with your body. It begins with what you believe about it. Many of us were taught that pleasure is something you earn, or something that belongs to a younger version of ourselves. Some were told it's selfish, others that it's embarrassing. Over time, those messages settle inside us like small stones. They weigh down our natural curiosity. And yet somewhere deeper, the body still remembers how it felt to be light, open, and free. That memory is never gone, it's simply waiting for permission to return. You might not even realize how strongly thoughts can shape the body. When you feel guilt or shame, your muscles tense, your breathing shortens, your blood flow slows. The same chemicals that cause stress also quiet the very systems that create pleasure and calm. It's as if your body can't bloom under the shadow of judgment, but the moment you replace guilt with acceptance, everything changes. The shoulders drop, the breath deepens, warmth begins to return. Science shows this too. Studies on relaxation and mindfulness reveal that when we feel safe and at ease, our bodies release oxytocin and endorphins more easily. These chemicals don't just make you feel good, they help tissues heal, reduce inflammation, and protect the heart. So when you approach self-care without shame, you're not being indulgent. You're letting your own biology work for you, instead of against you. One woman once told me, "I didn't realize how much energy I wasted on feeling bad about wanting to feel good." That moment stayed with me, because that's what guilt does. It steals vitality from the very place it was meant to live. When you let yourself enjoy gentle pleasure or relaxation as something natural, not secret, your body responds like a plant turned towards sunlight. It grows, it softens, it brightens. And this isn't only about physical touch, it's about every act that reminds you you're still here. Your laughter, your walks, the scent of your favorite lotion, the sound of your own sigh when you finally exhale after a long day. All of that is your body asking for presence. When you give it, you strengthen a loop of kindness between your mind and your body. That is what keeps you young in spirit and strong in health. So how often should you listen to those signals? As often as it takes to remember that you are alive, deserving, and whole. There's no number that can define that, only a rhythm that belongs entirely to you. If this conversation touched something in you, share it with another woman who might need to hear it. You never know how much a single moment of permission can change a life.